Hello, Ms. Macias. It's great to see you again. I really enjoyed my time in your room. And before I look at the evidence I collected, how do you feel the lesson went?
I feel it went good overall.
Okay.
I feel the lesson went successful, I can say. Just because the student evidence in the final product showed 80% of my students mastering.
Okay, mastering the TEK of inferencing, is that correct?
Yes.
That's what I went to go see. I really liked your lesson.
However, I did notice, sorry for interruption,
Mhm.
I did notice that whenever we do the small groups,
The transition.
the transition of the small groups, I think I lost a little of the pace momentum.
Okay, yes. I did notice that some of your students, they get a little bit, they lost their focus as they were transitioning. So yes, that was one thing I did notice.
Yeah, and we use a timer or a clear call to action to keep the pace.
Oh, okay, like a
time.
timer. You would
Yes.
use a timer. Yeah, that's a good way of refining your lesson and how to keep yourself track as you're taking the lesson. Because I did notice that you took a little bit longer in your whole group instruction, and you kind of you guided them more than what they could have done independently. Okay, so that's something that maybe we need to work on. Okay, so, but overall, you did a great job with the student engagement. Okay, so then I want us to reinforce an area where I feel you need a little bit of maybe improvement, which is, like I said again, in the student, in the transitioning of when you move from from group, or what is it?
Small group
Into whole group, or whole group into the small group instruction. Okay, so let me see.
Yeah, but the student engagement. you were
So I
saying.
want you to look about your classroom culture. How do you feel about your classroom culture?
Well, I've been focusing on dimension 3, which
Okay.
is the classroom culture, right? Like you
Okay.
said. And I found that when I give students specific roles within their groups, they take more ownership of their learning. It's been
Oh.
rewarding to see, for example, Edgar, just to step up as a leader and just, engage more, and I get to see that he is growing.
Oh, that's good. Yes, Edgar is the student that you said would struggle from the beginning of the year, and you
Yes.
see growth as
Yes.
you've been working with him. That's good. I
Yes.
did notice that Edgar is a little bit shy, but once you gave him that leader role in that group, he really felt, confident in himself, and pursued that leader role very well. And I really
Yes,
enjoyed
yes.
watching him, blossom throughout that lesson. Okay, so I noticed that during the independent practice, like 90% of your students were able to make connections when they were making reading the scenarios in your groups. Okay, so you used a very good scaffolding approach that kept them engaged, and that was like the leader roles and how you made them, do that communication amongst themselves. That really, I noticed how they were talking about the content and how they were reinforcing each other and helping each other when they were making mistakes. I really like to see that. Okay, so, and that's the reason why that you can see that, Ms. Macias, is because you set a very clear expectation and you provided that support as you were walking around and being in that zone with the students. I saw that students that were struggling were actually leading their groups, like Edgar, for example. Okay, so how did you plan that specific movement? Like what made you think, oh, I'm gonna use this strategy of grouping them like this?
Just because I know they're all in different levels,
Okay.
and that they need to be learning with, maybe, like I said at the beginning of the last meeting that we had, I try to seat my maybe a master kid with a sped kid and
okay. Your grouping
else.
strategy that you had.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. I did see that, and I did see how the students felt comfortable with each other, actually working in that group work. Okay, now, I'm looking at how we can move from you being a proficient teacher to an accomplished teacher or even to a distinguished teacher. And that's where we want you to be, at a distinguished level, right? So I want us to look at the dimension 2.4, which is differentiation of instruction. And we also want to talk about 3.1, which is your classroom culture. And we go again because I think it is very important that you specifically stick to that time frame of your lesson cycle. Okay, we don't want to do a lot more of the guided practice and forget about the independent practice. The independent practice, we want students to work, alone and be able to master it by themselves, not only you guiding them all the time, because then they're going to always expect you to guide them. Okay, so I want to talk about that. Your host, like I said, the whole group instruction was very strong. And I noticed that there was a group that finished their task very fast, like in 10 minutes earlier than what they were supposed to. So, and they began to disengage. They began to get up and look around and then go to other groups. And I know I saw you redirecting them and sending them back. But how can we fix that? How do you think we can continue? Because they finished it so fast, how can we extend it so that they don't start getting lose that engagement?
Yes, I noticed that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's good that you're mentioning it, because I think I need to work on that definitely.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, have them do some already apart, when they're finished, to be in a zone where they can work with iReady
And stay focused on iReady?
Yes.
Okay, what if we tried maybe another strategy such as the choice boards? There's this choice boards where they have different activities that will probably be still related to your content, the inference area or drawing conclusions, but they get to choose a different kind of activity based on that choice board. That could be another strategy that you can use. Or you can even have open-ended questions, and that let's say they go pick up a little stack of questions, or you have them already ready in the group. In case you guys are done, in case you're done early, you can get the questions, and they can maybe start quizzing each other as they're waiting for the other kids to finish the task that you have for them. Like that, you already have an extra activity there, and it continues to keep them engaged rather than just them waiting for everybody else to be done. You already have an extra something else for them planned.
Yes.
Okay, that could be one thing that you can do, and that would also keep those fast learners from slowing down, taking their time, because I think they're rather just, I don't want to exceed and go further. I'd rather just take my time and finish rather than finishing the activity very fast. Yes. Okay, so then now, what is one thing that you feel we can look at to help you grow as a teacher? Something that you feel we should look at, or for the next time, like.
Well, my professional goal of improving student-led inquiry, I'm going to look for a professional development session, maybe, on questioning strategies, or perhaps observe a colleague, I don't know, Ms. Torres, next to me here. Some colleague that I know that she excels in the area.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah, and that's no problem. We can find you somebody where you can go observe, especially in those areas. Now let me talk about your exit ticket. Okay, how did you see your exit ticket? How did the kids do on that? Did you feel like all kids mastered that in that area, or did you see some struggle there?
No, I think I need to work on that too. Not all my students were accepting the exit ticket. Yes, definitely.
Okay, so this is how you can do. Just an advice: when you notice that you have an exit ticket, and you check them as they're leaving or as the kids are walking out, make sure that if there was 40% of children or students that did not understand the concept and they missed a particular question of your exit ticket, then make sure that the next day you refine your lesson plan and you add like 5 minutes. Just to do like a reteach of that, whatever that question was, so that they can, and you can specifically address that misconception for them. Don't let them go thinking that it was okay. Make sure that you refine it at the beginning of your, like back again the next day for the first 5 minutes and go over it, because that means not everybody understood the concept to that lesson. Another strategy that you can also use is, instead of asking, does everybody understand? And then you just, have students raise their hand. I did notice that we need to find maybe another way to also make sure we understand that everybody's, making that connection, not only the same students that they keep answering the same questions over and over again. It's always the same students. So you can also just do a technique called cold calling, right? Where you randomly just call a student. It's not always the same kid that you're asking questions for. You can also do a think, pair, share, and that's where students talk to each other, and you're walking around in the zone, right, to make sure that you're listening to what they're talking to each other about. And that's how you also know if they're actually understanding the concept or not. Okay, that could also be an exit ticket, just so you'll know. But like I go back to that refinement again. Make sure that if they're not understanding the lesson, that you spiral it the next day. Don't just let it go, because we need to clear that misconception that the students might have. What about, let's see, is there any questions for me, Ms. Macias?
No, just how did you see the engagement?
The engagement was very good. I like the fact that they were all talking to each other, working as a group. I like the fact, like you said, that Erika, you gave him that leader role, and even though he struggles, he felt like he had the potential to grow and to show others too. That really, I can see that sense of pride that you gave him that with your way of giving him that leadership role. So I really like the student engagement. The only thing that I felt was the transition, when you lost them a little bit there, and then that group that finished way too fast, and they started to kind of wander off. That's like the only thing that I think we would have to work as a teacher to show that growth, so that we can move from being an accomplished teacher to a distinguished teacher. But those are things that with practice we can really execute the next time we have a lesson. Is there anything else, Ms. Macias?
No, thank you so much for all your tips,
No,
Ms.
you're
Murillo.
welcome. That is what we're here for. And stay motivated as a teacher. Make sure that you always, students first, okay? If they don't understand, then you go back and reteach. It's better to have quality over quantity. You don't want to just teach, and then you don't know if they're really understanding it, okay? And then pace yourself. Remember that timing is also very important. Make sure you have a timer the next time, and maybe that you can guide yourself like that. 5 minutes for your opening, 15 minutes for introduction, and do that whole lesson cycle with your timer. And you'll see how you'll also have your students like back to back, like you won't lose them. If you really have a timer to help you and guide you throughout those 55 minutes that we have with each classroom. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. And if you ever need anything, Ms. Macias, please let me know. I'm here to guide you, and just like you are there to guide your students, I'm here to guide you and to make you a better teacher, which you're already a fabulous teacher. It's just little things here and there that we all can grow. So is there anything else that I can?
No, Ms. Murillo, thank you so much for
Well, thank you
everything.
so much, Ms. Macias, and I look forward to seeing you again in action, okay?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.